how to catch bass in the winter using the easiest and simplest fishing rig. This is the Bass Slayer right here. If you're a beginner struggling to catch bass in the winter, this fishing rig can change everything. Why this fishing rig works so well in the winter. The water's cold, so the fish are sluggish. Winter bass are sluggish. Cold water slows down their metabolism. They don't want to chase. They want the easy meal. That's why beginners fail in the winter. They fish too fast. The wacky rig works because it does the work for you. It's a slow action lure. There are literally thousands of fishing lures on the market. Everyone has their favorites, and yes, they all work in their own special way. But if you want to get right to fishing and right to catching big bass and don't feel like going through hundreds of lures, use this fishing rig. It's the most effective and simplest way to start if you're a beginner fisherman. Start catching fish right away. Here's the wacky rig, clear and simple. The wacky rig. The bait is a straight tail plastic worm, also known as a stick bait. I personally use a 2/0 offset J hook. Pause to learn. It's the perfect balance for beginner fishermen. This setup is simple, affordable, and effective all year, but it shines in the winter. You hook the worm directly through the middle. Here's how you check the balance. So here's a really cool little gadget I bought for the wacky rig and baiting up the wacky rig. This is the most popular stick bait color that they make, green pumpkin. So I'm going to find the center of this bait just by hanging it on the hook. If it hangs like that without falling, you're pretty close to the center. Then I'm just going to mark that like that. Now I'm just going to put this hook straight through that stick bait like that. Bring it over the barb. There's the action. Now I'm going to prepare one of these O-rings and pull it up on the tube. Now I'm going to put my bait in the tube with the hook already in it and bring it down and just slide that hook right in that tube. Then I'm just going to roll that O-ring off the metal tube. Now you got the hook through the bait, and you also got a O-ring around the stick bait and around the hook. So the bass won't be able to steal that as easy. And you can see you still got your action. No weights are required. The ends flutter as the bait naturally falls. Why the bass bite this lure? Most strikes will happen as the bait is dropping through the water column. The worm sinks slowly. Both ends of the lure move slowly. That is the action. Bass can react to this without moving far. The falling action is what triggers the strike, especially in the cold water. Cast this bait out and let it sink slowly. After you cast it out, you want to keep that line nice and slack in the water. That will allow the bait to fall straight down. After that bait hits the bottom, you're going to twitch that rod slowly. Once that hits the bottom, you just jig it up easy. Everything's slow in the winter. Remember, you're doing everything slow in the winter and in the cold water. Nice and slow, take your time. Here for Reelz Fishing, we break this down to its simplest form. There's so many different ways out there, and I'm not saying any of them are wrong. But if you just want to go out and fish and catch fish, this is the way to do it. We focus on teaching the beginner fishermen the basics in fishing and catching fish. If this video helped you at all, just drop a comment and let me know. It's a great encouragement to hear from everybody who watches. Now be sure to check out this next video here. I'm sure you'll like it.